Hello, hello, hello. Hey guys, it's me, SB. My mic is muted, I believe. I can't hear myself. Okay, so y'all can hear me. I hope so. Listen, guys, sorry for the delay. I've been having some sound problems, but I'm back now. Listen, we got a show planned for you all today. I hope all y'all can hear me. Listen, we are late. Forgive us, but we got it together now. I hope y'all are here ready for a good show. This has been what we've been talking about for at least the last week here. So guess what? We're an hour late. So what? It's all good. But listen, guys, thank you so much for being here. Let's say hello to some of you folks in the chat. I'm gonna bring up my guests. Y'all already know it. The show was supposed to be for 3:30 this afternoon. And it's with Miss J. Monroe. Y'all know who Miss J. Monroe is, but we're a little delayed. But I'm glad you all are here. Thank y'all for supporting the show. And hello. So first of all, Lady Navoa, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're here. I know you were here the first time. Miss Fancy, driving and listening. Look, don't run into nobody. Daryl Long, how you doing, Daryl? I'm glad that you guys are here. Big Cap, what's going on with you? How is the family? How is the wife? I hope everybody's good. Salam, it's good to see you. Thank you so much. Mr. Jackson, you can't wait. Listen, Mr. Jackson, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Natasha Vincent, Miss Vincent, we can hear you. Thank you. You know, look, when you push the button and the soundboard don't come on, what do you do? And guess what? Y'all know we got to have our dearly beloveds, our money line. Guess what, y'all? We ain't got none of that today. Don't cancel us, though. We're going to get it back together. Who knows what happened? We never know. It's what you call struggle streaming, and that's what we've been going through. But we're here. Miss Monroe is here, and we're going to just get to the good part of this thing. And I know y'all going to have some questions. And guess what? We're going to answer some. But again, thank you so much for being here. Make sure when you're coming in the live, you're giving me the thumbs up. And also, listen, for those of you who have followed me or who are following me on TikTok, thank you so much for being there. And I hope by now you found me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give me the thumbs up as you come in. I appreciate you guys so much. TikTok followers, they are a special group. They are on it. They do very, very well. Very, very well. Instagram, make sure you all also, thank you so much for following me, first of all. But make sure if you haven't found your way over here at Unsolicited Security Boss, you do so. Give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And if I didn't say it yet, all of y'all, make sure y'all turn those alerts on. Somebody is telling me that YouTube has a way of turning off alerts. Now, I don't know if y'all know anything about that, but if they do, we got to make sure we're checking our alerts, check them, make sure they're on. So when we finally go live, you'll make sure you'll get that alert that we are live. And that's what's most important. Again, thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the delay, but we're going to get right into it. And y'all know today, what do we call the show? The viral TikTok mom now wants love. All right. And marriage, love and marriage. I'm going to have to have my own. I'm going to have to be my own sound machine, y'all. Can I do it? Boom. That was weak. But anyway, let's bring her up. Miss J. Monroe, come on up here, lady.
Hi everybody. Again, thank you so much for having me here today. So, yes, girl, I'm ready to get into it. I know y'all probably have a lot of questions. I'm sure the men probably have a lot of comments and questions too. So, I'm ready.
Okay. Now, Miss Monroe, you put out a video. And I think I heard you say it went viral.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to play a little bit of that video. Just to remind the people live today what happened.
Yeah.
And the truth about it is, y'all, I'm hurting y'all because I want to be loved. I want marriage. You know, a lot of us get on here, we act tough and we be like, I don't want a man, I don't need a man, but I want help. I want to be loved. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody I can be vulnerable with. The problem is, and I'm not crying, y'all, because I'm sad. I'm crying, y'all, because it's like a release right now. But the problem for me, y'all, is that all the relationships that I had with men were not about love. It was about survival for me. I know how to fuck. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to seduce a man. I do not know how to love a man. And then to have a son, because of those choices that I was making, y'all, And I got pregnant really, really fast. I got pregnant within 90 days of knowing my baby daddy. And we don't talk about this shit because it's embarrassing and it hurts. It fucking hurts. And I'm mad with me. I'm not mad at men. I'm not mad at my life. I'm mad at me because I don't know how to fix me. I don't know how to fix it. That's accountability. That's the shit that hurts. It's realizing that, hey, I got some shit with me that I don't know how to fucking fix. And in turn, because I don't know how to fix that shit, I'm fucking up other people around me. That's accountability. That's the shit that we don't put on social media.
All right. You said a lot.
I did.
Okay.
I did. That was a moment. And for the record, I do want to say this because I did watch a gentleman say that, women get washed up, they have sex with all these men and now they start playing on the emotional card, and that wasn't it. I never expected for that to go viral. I'm still in that hotel. I was having a honest come to moment where I just realized that, I didn't have my son till I was 25, but I'm realizing that like that life that I was living, right? The lifestyle that I was living of using men, of living off survival, of being in the streets and things like that. Like I am paying, even though it's 10 years later. Like I had my son at 25, but I am now realizing that those choices that I made when I was younger have really affected me. And it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so much about like, what I'm saying? Like, oh, I just want a man and nobody wants me or anything else like that. Like, no, it was me having a moment where I'm like, I need help. I'm frustrated. I'm single. I'm doing this alone. I messed up, and it was me being accountable and not blaming men and not saying that, oh, black men are the reason that I'm here. Like, no, I know the lifestyle, the choices that I were making put me where I'm at today, and it went viral. I had no idea. You can't plan for something like that. And I think a lot of people reacted to it because I've had a lot of women and men telling me that like they feel the same way too, and they didn't know how to articulate that. And at the end of it, it's like, yes, I do want to be loved, right? I don't want to bring baggage to a man, but I realize too that like I haven't seen a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a bastard baby or anything else like that, but I haven't seen my mom be in love. My mom was single for a long time, and the women around me, they're not like these vixens or anything else like that, but I haven't seen a woman around me being loved properly. And I just felt like, how can a man ever love me if I don't know how to give that back to someone? Because all I know about love is survival, is transactional. It's not, I really don't know what it is to actually love a man. I know how to seduce you. I know how to entertain you. I know how to talk to you. I know how to keep a house clean. I know how to cook, but I don't know how to love you. And that was me like being accountable for like why I'm in this situation with men, or the experiences I've had with men. I'm still not mad at men to this day and don't blame them. And realizing that I had some things that if I ever truly want to be loved, it's probably going to take a special kind of man. But that I had to get through those issues and those ideologies that I grew up on, because everything was about survival. And when you live in survival, it changes you, and it numbs your perception of what relationships are really supposed to be.
All right. So let's
go back.
You just said something. No. And then I'm gonna bring you forward. You said I don't have any examples, but I'm not a bastard child. Tell me, to be not a bastard child, that means you were born in wedlock. So you're saying you had your mother and father in the home with you when you were born? Hold on. I can't. Okay, go ahead. Say it again.
Yeah, so my mother, people have this misconception about women maybe like me, or somehow we come from some kind of broken homes. My father was not there. So I don't feel like I have like daddy issues, but that whole modern woman take and things like that, like I just want people to know, like I don't want my actions to reflect on my mother, because whatever y'all think about me, she is definitely the opposite. So when we get into like learning how to manipulate men, I just want to set the record straight that my mom was not the one that showed me that way. She didn't tell me like, oh yeah, you use a man and you make sure he got money. That's not my mom at all. Like, no.
So hold on for one moment. because you were
because you were
still
still
muted when
muted
you
when you
answered that
answered that.
question. Did you have your mother and father, were they married at the
Married at the
time
time
when you were
when
Yes.
you were
born?
born.
Yes. Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
I
I
can.
can.
Okay,
I can.
perfect.
Okay,
Okay.
So,
so
So
how
how
old were
old were
you
you
when your
when your
father
father
left?
left?
2? Okay, you said
Okay, you
2
said
years
2 years
old?
old.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Um.
now,
Now,
so you
so you
mentioned that you
mentioned
gave
that you did
an
an
example
example
of
of
how to be
how
a
to be
wife.
a wife.
Okay, so
Okay, so
moving forward,
moving forward,
you
you
also just
also
said
just
that your
said that your
mother was
mother
not
was not the
the example
example
for the way
for the
you
way
chose
you
to live
chose to
your
live
life.
your life.
right.
Okay,
Okay,
so now
so now you
can you turn
can
your
you turn
speaker
your speaker
down
down
just a little
just a
bit?
little bit?
Is that better?
Now speak.
Now speak.
Is that better?
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
so
Okay.
I did
Okay,
a little
so
research and I
I
noticed
did a
that
little research and I
you had a
noticed that
YouTube channel called
you
The
had a
Naked
YouTube
Truth.
channel called The Naked Truth.
So what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that you've been on this journey, it seems like for a long time. The Naked Truth, YouTube years, it says 2 years. Can you tell me exactly when you started The Naked Truth?
COVID hit, and it was a channel. I didn't really do too many videos on there, but it was just same thing, just being honest with people about my experiences, about things that I was doing. Especially because OnlyFans was like a really big thing at the time, and just being honest with the girls is like it's not what y'all think. So yeah, so that's yeah,
Was that
Was
that's
that
been a while.
2002?
what,
What,
2021?
2021?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we're in 2022, so I think like yeah, so
2021.
2021.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
what I'm
what
going to
I'm gonna
know
know.
is a woman who has a mother who is a wife, who you said lives a totally separate life than the one that you chose to live. How do you find yourself on OnlyFans?
going back, like I said, like I watched my mother be a single mother for a long
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
So, and the reason why I mentioned that my mom was married, because I think a lot of times when we see women that grow up to be these broken women or modern women, as people call them, they think that somehow like you have daddy issues or things like that. Now, I did grow up in a tumultuous household. I started running away at 14. And also what I talked about in that video is that learning at 14 that men taught me that I could use my body to survive. So again, not blaming men. I'm not gonna play a victim because being that age and lying and things like that. Like I feel like I can't be a victim when I was acting in being a victimizer. But from that age, by that time, I had just experienced sexual abuse. My first interaction was with a man was molestation, and so by that time at 14, I didn't want to be home. There was a lot of things going on between me and my mom, just a lot of fighting. And then having a parent with a mental illness, like I didn't want to be there, so it was easier for me to run away. And by that time, from about 14 to about 18, I'm kind of in and out in juvenile and things like that. By 18, I'm a dancer. I don't have a kid, so I don't have anybody to be responsible to. I don't owe it to a man to be this woman that could be a future wife because I don't have kids and I'm 18, like and I'm doing what I know best. I'm using my body and my looks to survive out here. And then by 25, I have my son, and then to get to OnlyFans, my son was not with me at the time when I chose to do that. He was living with his dad, but I saw everybody else doing it, and I'm like, once you are an entertainer, it's not hard to get back into the entertainment world. That wasn't like sexual acts and stuff like that. On OnlyFans, and if y'all go look for it, you're not gonna find it because OnlyFans is deleted. But yeah, it was another way to like, okay, like we're in a pandemic and I need money, and yeah, so that's how you end up on OnlyFans.
So Jay,
So
you know
Jay,
what
you
you're
know what you're
saying.
saying.
You're calling
You're
yourself
calling
a
yourself a
304.
304.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
I
Okay.
mean, what do
Okay.
y'all want me to say? Like, y'all, let me address this right now. Like, whether people like what I'm saying or not, I really don't give a damn because it's my truth. And it's a lot of other women that's out here that are living that same truth. And people can sit on their high horse and they can judge all they want to. But there's a lot of women that are having a breakthrough by the video that I had. And, let them without sin cast the first stone.
Well, let me
Well,
say
let me
this.
say this.
I
I
actually
actually
love the
love the
video you
video
did.
you did.
I was
I
in your
was in your
corner.
corner.
I said,
I
this
said,
is what
this
women, this is
women,
actually
this is
what
actually
men
what
want.
men want.
Because this woman is apologizing. She's basically accounting for what she's done, the life she's led, and she's turning, changing her mindset. She's wanting to be a different woman. Now she wants to be a married woman. Now she's looking for love. But I'm going to tell you something. I got to be totally honest with you because we're telling the truth. I was all in your corner, but then I kept looking at TikTok on a different day. And I heard young Miami say, I don't cook. I mean, I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to F, and I know how to seduce. And that threw me way off because I felt like you was sincere. But now I feel like, is this a part of a rap song I don't know about? Hold on. But wait 1 second, because he mutes you when I'm talking. So go ahead.
Answer that for me.
Yeah, it's not a part of a rap song. Like there are a lot of young girls learning to survive with their bodies. And as much as men want to tell women like we're wrong and things like that, like who y'all think we learning that from? Who told you that you could use your body to get what you want? Who showed you that? Why, like it's again, like I can't be a victim, but like I'm just saying, like
No, but
No, but
Jay,
Jay,
what I'm
what I'm
saying
saying
is
is
to get
to
to the
get to the
point where
point
you
where you
are,
are,
it takes
it
a
takes a
certain
certain
amount of
amount of
humility.
humility.
To say
To
I
say I
know how to
know how
cook,
to cook,
clean, F,
clean,
and
F, and
seduce,
seduce.
to me,
To
that was
me, that
just
was
your
just
way of
your way of
expressing
expressing
yourself.
yourself.
But then
But
when I
then when
hear
I hear
another
another
person
person
say it,
say it,
now I'm
now I'm
questioning you
questioning you
because I'm
because
with
I'm
you.
with you.
Because a
Because a
woman to
woman
get
to
to the
get to the
point where you
point where
say
you
you
say you
are,
are,
I want to
I
help
want to
you.
help you.
I want to be
I
like,
want to be
look,
like, look,
I'm a
I'm
married
a married
woman,
woman.
50 plus years old. I've been married 27 years. I had a child before I got married. So I was a single mother for a time, but I don't play games with it. I want you to be married. I think it's time for you to have a covering. I think it's time for you to be protected. I think it's time for you to have provision because you shouldn't have to live in survival mode. No woman should ever have to live in survival mode. So I'm going to be sincere with you. But when I hear young Miami say, I can cook, I can clean, I can F, and I can seduce, I just felt like, oh, damn, I'm stupid right now because this is a new trend. Wow. I really thought Miss Monroe was being sincere. So she's gonna have to help me out with that. So I'm asking you to help me out with it because again, if you saw the video that I did and heard the things that I said, I'm with you. I said, I need to get this woman on my show because I support what she's saying. This is what men are saying they need. They need women to take accountability for it. I even saw you do another video where you said, hey, look, there's more videos to come because I'm taking account for all of my life. I heard you say these things. So I want you to, I mean, you don't know me, so we're not going to play games and you don't have to make me understand or anything, but I'm rooting for you. And I'm telling you, there are men out there that want to love and marry women, but we ain't playing. I'm not down with playing games with them, and you have a lot of we're going to call it the left. You have a lot of the left in you, but now we're trying to put the right in you, but the left can't come back. So we just got to figure out where you are because I advocate for my men. I don't want any man to have someone or be involved with someone that they care about and then it ruins them at a later date because they got too much of the left in them and we were playing the game at the time. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. This is why I'm talking to you about this. But it's just for us to have a conversation because I want you to make me a believer because I believed you. I did. So just to be honest with you, but I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna stop talking. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm 36. Like I'm not a city girl as far as young Miami, but unfortunately I think a lot of young girls do have that mindset. Now I did see where my young Miami was sitting on there, but no, like I can't fake an emotion. I'm not a celebrity. I don't plan on being a celebrity. Like you know what I'm saying. And again, it's so many people like is she just saying this because like she wants attention and things like that. Like baby, if I wanted to attention, I can go get a BBL and go on a strip pole. I live in Houston. If I just want attention from men, like it's not hard to get attention from men. Like you know what I'm saying. Like there's no way that I would get that what I'm saying I would make a video with me spilling some of the deepest things that I hate about myself and admitting that, and you can't fake that. Excuse me, you can't fake it. And a lot of girls feel like that because a lot of young girls, college is not always the answer for everybody. And I'm glad that that video is touching people, because a lot of young girls have that mentality, right? To where you just feel like, I want a man to take care of me. I want a man with money and right. And we know how to do these things, right? Because that's what we're taught. You know how to cook. You know how to clean. You know how to seduce a man. You learn all these things, but you don't really learn the essence about loving yourself or loving a man. And it's just, and like I said, and a lot of men are getting a ha moment of it. Like, advocate for the men, because I'm advocating for the women. Because nobody talks about that. These men get on these podcasts and they say all these horrible things about women. But if women are so horrible, then who's the horrible men laying up with y'all? Like, you know what I'm saying? And again, just as far as like Young Miami, I'm 36. I'm not a kid. Young Miami is way younger than me. I don't even listen to City Girls. So no, I'm not doing that. We're not gonna do that, because it has nothing to do with trying to go viral and things like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It went viral because I think it's a lot of truth that people will never admit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's always easier to point the finger at somebody else instead of smelling your own stuff. Absolutely. That's why people can get on podcasts and talk about other people. But I haven't heard any man or any woman get on a podcast. I haven't heard men say, I'm going to just dump a baby in you because deep down, I know you won't want me. But if I put this baby in you, then you're stuck with me for 18 years. No man has gotten on here and say that. And I haven't seen any woman get on here and say, well, you know what? My part in hurting men is that I use men for the wrong reason. Like, like you can't fake something like that.
Well, that's exactly what you just said, but that's taking account for your life, and that's what you're doing. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm supporting. But the other part is this: when a woman is ready to be loved and to have marriage, to have a husband, it is time for that self-reflection, but it's also time to preserve yourself. It's time for you to preserve your thoughts. It's time to now align yourself for being a wife. And I don't know Young Miami. I'm just telling you who said those things. And it made me like question myself, because when a woman is taking account for it, that's what I would like for you to do, because that's what I did. But I've been married 27 years. Now, I wish that on you, but it's time out for the games, I suppose, or whatever we want to call them. And it's actually time out for the men. It's for you to self-reflect on what it is you want and go after that, because you have to ask yourself those tough questions. Why did you use a man? Am I a boss chick? Am I a feminist? How do I really feel about a man? Do I know a man's purpose? Do I know my purpose? Do you know that? Do you know your purpose? Do you know what your purpose is as a woman?
I don't. I feel like for me, my purpose right now is providing for my son, because that is my life. You know what I'm saying? And whether I get married, whether a man wants me or not, I have a child. So that is my purpose. That's what keeps me here. That what keeps me living is that is my purpose. And whether God is using this message to heal people, because I feel like I said, we just judge people. We don't ever really peel back the layer, because the behaviors are just indicative of something else. But when you really start getting deep into it, like, why is it so many, you know what I'm saying? Why are so many women like this? Why are so many men like that? So,
But Jay, we all judge each other. There's nothing wrong with the judgment, because you got to figure out who you want to be with, how you want to be, and all that. So you're judging you're judging when you look at anybody. The conviction or the condemnation is where's the problem. I'm judging you, but I am no way condemning you, because I'm there. Because you asked the question at the end of the video. You said, I have no idea what to do. I'm saying to you, I'm not a counselor, but I'm a woman that's been in, not necessarily been in your shoes, but I know what you're going through, and I know where you would want to be. So I'm here to help you. So for me to say, listen, Jay, first thing you got to do is, guess what? You got to change your mindset, because even though you had a child and you are a single mother, he has a dad. How about we go find him and make him part of his life? Because it's not your responsibility. And if you keep telling yourself that, your mindset is not in the right place, because you're going to keep building up resentment for another man. And then you're going to think the next man is going to just be like that man, which is wrong. So we need to say, you know what? Let me change my mindset about men, because we thought of men as less. We thought as men as just transactional. That is a wrong way to think about a man. And the only way you can do that is to change your mindset about their purpose for being here. Yet in the same process, change yours. So for your life, and you did not ask me this, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. This is what the unsolicited part is. You have to say to your son, hey, listen, you're a young man. I can only give you half of what you need, and that's the emotion. You have a father who is very much logical. We got to find him and invite him back into his life if he's not there, despite whatever he did wrong. Despite it, who cares? He hasn't done it, so he can't do no worse than he's been doing. But that in turn will make him be more of a dad. You will see a difference in his behavior. And then y'all don't have to come together, but he could be there for his son. Then your son can get that balance that he needs to go off into this world and not do the same things that you and his dad did. So that's the first thing. We got to change the way we think about men. Would you call yourself a feminist?
Mm-mm.
Would you call yourself a boss chick?
No, I don't identify with any of those titles. I'm not a feminist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a boss chick because I don't feel like a boss chick. Whatever makes a boss chick. I don't have a Rolls Royce. I don't have 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't have a bust down. I don't have any of that. So I am not a boss chick. I'm not a feminist because I love my girls. I love women, but I do recognize that we do have some things as women that we need to change, and it would be unfair to just say that like, oh, it's all men's fault. Because no, it's not. It's not. It's not. We women, yeah, we got some things we need to work on, especially in our community. Absolutely. And as far as his father, like his father is there. Like, he knows his father. You know, it's not that his father is not present, but you know, again, like I said, when we start going into deep stuff, like that's personal. So I'm not going to put somebody else's business out here that is maybe not able to defend themselves and they have children and things like that. But I was saying this too on another TikTok video. I absolutely agree with you that my son does need a positive male role model, and I put that on my TikTok. Hold on, son. While I was telling women that we need to get our boys around good men. And just the other day, you know, he does have a older cousin out here that's been picking him up, and he told me the same thing before any men or anybody else had to tell me that. He was like, you know what, this is the age where like your son is becoming a man and you need to let him be around other men. And I had been telling my son that too. I'm like, son, we need to get you in karate. I need to get you around something because I'm a woman. I don't know how to be a man, right? I can't tell you about being a man. I can tell you what to look out for in a woman. I can show you the love of a mother, but I am not a man. Like I can't teach you that part of it because I don't know it. So I absolutely agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just to also help you understand that men have a purpose. I think so often when women grow up, like you said you did, had to be on your own at 14, had to endure some sort of abuse in your home, we forget, or like you said, we don't have examples of the man in the household. So we begin to resent them. And you do yearn for a father's love. A lot of us have. Sometimes we don't even know it. So it makes us resent a man. We grow up and really start thinking that as a woman, we don't need a man. And for me, that's the farthest thing from correct. I need to have my husband in my life. I need the covering. I need the protection. You know, I need the provision. I don't want to be responsible for everything. And see, that's what you're saying. You're saying, I want the love, therefore I want the marriage. You want all the things that come in marriage. And you was like, I don't know how to get there. And I'm telling you, the first thing is to make sure we understand that men have a purpose. And that maybe over time, the resentment, if you have been, and you haven't really said you don't like men, you said, I do like men, but there may be resentment there, but you can get over it and you can see a man's purpose and that he can be allowed to love you. Because right now, I don't know if a man can love you. I don't know if he can. The one thing you want to do too is, and we talked about this last night, is in your goal to try to find your new self, preserve yourself. Preserve yourself. You know, all these things that you're good at, you know, you got to cook and you got to clean for yourself. But as far as the seduction and the other thing, preserve that for your husband. Put in your mind that no, I don't need to do this anymore. And either you will run them off or they'll be there for you. It's two things can happen. You will run them away because all they wanted was that, you know, and that other stuff, or they'll walk it out with you. But of course, you know, like I said, and I said it earlier, I want you to have counseling. You got to have some counseling because you've been on your own or you've been uncovered for a very long time. And it's a whole different vantage point when you're covered. I see things totally different than you do. And it's probably like, you know, you might be talking about me when you said the judgment. I mean, I do judge situations. I do ask myself, why is this woman doing this? Not you particularly, but just certain things. Why is a woman twerking on the highway? I do question stuff like that. You know, y'all are beautiful women. You have, like you said, you have everything you need, but then you give it away. I do want to know why. And like you said, everybody has a story. You know, we all have a story of what brought us here, but you have to figure out what your story is so you can change your mindset, account for it, because you're ready to do it. And then your mindset will begin to change. And I just think that you're ready. Now you in a spot right here, this YouTube spot or this social media spot where they're not going to let you get off the hook. They're going to hold you to the fire. They're going to hold you for all of that. Now we're going to begin with the first one that held you accountable that you said you got really, really mad at. That was Kevin Samuels. Tell us about what you thought about Kevin Samuels.
You know what? I gotta be 100 with you. When I said I understood what Kevin Samuels was saying, I didn't like how he was speaking to women, right? But somebody explained it to me the other day. They was like, sometimes, you know how like just sometimes like you really need just like a cold slap in the face to wake you up. That's how they saw Kevin Samuels talking to women, right? And it was hard for me to listen to him at first because I'm like, you calling women big Shirley? I'm trying to lose weight. I'm the table. But you know, Kevin was right to an extent. Like you can only, like I would tell women this, you can only play the game for so long. Beauty fades, your body fades, right? Everything fades. And when I did used to be in the dance clubs, I had a manager that would always tell me a new bad B turns 18 every day. I didn't know what that meant, right? It's like, baby, you will be here and gone tomorrow, okay? So if you're going to play the game, like, you know what I'm saying, you better make sure you have a long-term strategy. I also understood what Kevin was saying with, like, you know, this mentality that sometimes as women have, which I'll get into that in a minute, but the whole thing where, like, I want a man to pay all my bills and stuff like that. Sometimes that's a defense mechanism, but I understood what Kevin was saying too. Like, you can't be asking men for all these things and then you can't even you know, I get it. I don't want to be mean, like, you know what I'm saying, but I get the gist of what Kevin was saying. And like you get older, and now you're looking back and you're like, damn, like I kind of wasted. I don't feel like I wasted my youth, but I do feel like you know what I'm saying, because I don't think from 18 to 25, I don't know, I'm not married. I wouldn't tell a young girl to like put your heart out on like finding a man and finding love, like, you know what I'm saying. But I do understand what Kevin was saying, and like you get older and things change, like everything starts changing, and sometimes you start feeling like maybe it's too late, for love, like, you know, like, yeah. So, you know, yeah, I didn't like what he was saying at first.
Jay, this is so funny because when you said I wouldn't tell a 25-year-old to put herself out there for a man or what have you, it's not. We see our thought process is so wrong. It's not the woman putting herself out there. It's the woman preserving herself and aligning with her creator, and that man's gonna come and get her. It has nothing to do with what she does. Putting herself out there is where we go wrong, because the first man that tell you you love him, you give yourself to him, and he probably was wrong and lying, and then we got baby number one, right? So that's not what women should do. We should self-reflect, have a relationship with our creator, preserve our bodies. If a man is willing to ask you to marry him and he goes through with it, he more than likely will take care of his kids. That's a man that cares. A man that wants to sleep with you will tell you anything because you put yourself out there. See, that's what we should tell the 25-year-olds. It's not, align yourself so you can find a good man per se. It's align yourself with the Father, the Creator, who said, preserve yourself and the man will find you. That's what we have to do. And we all make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not making any judgment calls on that. We do make mistakes, but you can't live in them, because women are the ones that lose. We lose because you have the kids. We've had sex with men that didn't care or had no intentions on marrying you or even having a child. Now what? And now we have trauma. We have trauma, drama, and dysfunction. And that's ridiculous. So if you do, and you listen, you're going to have access to way more 25-year-olds than I will because they don't like to hang out with me. So find out what you need to tell them and relay the message, because at a certain age, what Kevin said is at 35, you hit this wall. You realize that you have given up all your 20s and your early 30s, and now you have basically sold out. Now you want a man to come and save you. And that's how it looks. But if we have a woman who has this as a testimony, they can go back and tell you, girl, listen, this is this or this or this. I need you to start concentrating on yourself, Find your value. It was lost somewhere. I don't know where. Let's find it. Let's find it. Then we'll be better off. Now, I would love for them to come to SB Nation and we just have these talks. I would love it. But again, I'm a square. I've been a square for 27 years. So not everybody's going to listen. They don't even want to hear it because I'm not going to say it's intimidation, but I live a very square life. Some would say it's not very entertaining, but I love it. And you're a woman now that's 36 years old, and forgive me for saying, but I think you actually want what I have. And the way to achieve it is to be kind of square.
So, yeah. Oh, listen, I agree with everything you're saying, and thank you for that, because I wish that maybe the women in my family would have told me that, right? Because I didn't understand. Like, I understand it now, what you're saying. Like, to cover yourself is actually is better than to just give yourself away to the world, right? Because like when you start giving yourself away to people, just like you said, like, yes, you get hurt, you don't understand why, and you're like, well, I gave him my body, and I had sex with him, and I thought that meant he loved me. Like, no, you everything you said was definitely spot on, right? And it's like sometimes, like, geez, like, you don't understand it till you having a come to moment and you crying in the hotel going viral. But I agree with everything you're saying, and absolutely, and I do. I've been single, and I know that might be hard for some people to believe, but because I do have a son, I had to slow down my life, right? I don't want my son around certain things or seeing certain things. And I do believe that God probably has somebody for me. But, being able to be so transparent about it and having women hear that, like, I hope it helps them, because I agree with you. I see some of the most beautiful girls. And now that I'm not in that lifestyle no more and I'm not in that moment, I look at them like, baby girl, what are you doing? Like, why are you on here showing your whole body? You are so pretty. You do not need to do that. Like, but at the same time, I kind of understand, like, maybe the mindset that they're operating is that it's broken, right? And I definitely think that, definitely, maybe that's what God wants me to do, is to talk to the younger women, because nobody was speaking to us like this. Nobody was telling us this, like, and I wish, and yes, I love hearing couples that are married. Like, when I listen to women and men that have been married for a while, because I know I'm not married, but I know marriage is a union and it's work and things like that. And so to have somebody from our community like you to be able to tell me that and speak on it, and thank you just for understanding that, like, hey sis, like, maybe I didn't live that lifestyle that you live, but I understand it, and this is what I want for you. Like, that's a feeling that, you just, like, I can't explain it to you. Just hearing that, I really needed that, so I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But
But
Jay,
Jay,
I could
I
have
could
been
have
you.
been you.
It's just
It's
that
just that
my
my
life was
life was
different
different
because when
because when
my
my
first
first
was my
was my
child
child.
father. So I found out real quick that I was incorrect. I didn't like how I felt. I wasn't raised that way at all. I had an example of a wife, though. My mom was a wife. I had a dad in the house. I had all of that also. So I quickly realized that, hey, you've fallen off a cliff. You need to get back on the right side of it. So that was my saving grace. Not everybody has that. Like you said, I didn't have any examples. So guess what? It's time to have the examples. Mr. Tasha Vincent says, I'm sorry. What is her message for younger ladies? So she would like to know, what would be your message for those younger women that are 20, 25 years old? What would you say to them that you think would save them or preserve their youth, or the younger part of their life, their 20s?
I would tell them, like, don't fall to the wayside. Don't fall for the BS of believing, because I no disrespect, but like, for women that maybe have lived like what y'all call the square life and things like that, like, when you're involved in the wrong things, and you're involved like in the fast life and the street life, when you're really involved in the dark side of life, right, everything around, like, I've been told, right, it's like, oh, you gotta have good, let me say, cuckoo, or, what I'm saying, that'll make a man want you, or, you gotta look a certain way, or you need to have this type of body, or you gotta have, like, things like that. And so I want young women to understand that you are not your body. You are not your body. I also want young women in our community to stop having babies out of wedlock. Stop giving these men babies that don't love you, because we're just continuing the cycle of, like, creating all these broken homes and things like that. That's my message to young women. Don't be like me. Be better than me, because I get, like, I'm not judging them, because, and sometimes that makes it hard to listen to people like when you feel like you're being attacked because you're saying like, oh, women are whores and stuff like that. But I want young women to like, girl, if nobody understands, trust me, I understand, and I don't want that for young women. I don't have a daughter, I have a son, but the same way that I wish that as you're sitting here now telling me something that I wish somebody would have told me, maybe I'm the one that needs to be that person that tells them before they, keep going in this cycle, because it's an issue. It's an issue for sure.
Okay, but
Okay, but
Jay,
Jay,
you keep
you keep
talking
talking
about judging them. It's okay for you to judge their situation. You're an older woman now. It comes a time when we should be wise. Comes a time when we should be wise and should be able to pour something into somebody's life. But you don't have to condemn them. You don't have to say, you're going to go to hell because you're doing this. You could then reflect on what those things you did to help them. But you have to have that relationship with Christ or with your creator. I'm not necessarily saying any particular religion, but you have to build some sort of foundation that keeps you. If you don't have a foundation, you're just speaking. And once you're challenged, like for instance, the first time some man comes, lays $1,000, $2,000 on the table, if you don't have a solid foundation, you're going to take that money and you're going to do whatever he says do. So you have to first work on that foundation to know this is actually what I want for my life. And I'm actually this valuable. And this, I don't want that money, because what you bringing me, that's not what I want. I want a husband. I want the solid protection. I want covering from you. I don't even want you to be able to talk to me. Like, for instance, if I walk in a room, you wouldn't even proposition me with that $2,000 because you would know that I'm not the woman that you should be talking to. That's how you need to carry yourself. That's what we need to sell to the younger generation. Because, remember, money is the thing now. We need to sell that to the next generation. I want to say this to you also, and I want you to think about it for a minute, and I'm going to read this comment. I want you to tell us, what kind of man is it, excuse me, that you are desiring right now? What kind of man are you desiring? But before we get there, I want to read this comment. Nurse Fancy, how are you? It's a lot of women like her. Do you want to change or not? That's your question. And then you answer mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to change. I don't want to be that person. That's why I said like I don't know how to fix it. When I was operating just in like it becomes numbing, and it's like a dark hole, and it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's like you don't want to keep operating in that same thing. So yes, absolutely I want to change. Absolutely.
So when
so
you
when
say
you say
something is
something is
numbing,
numbing,
that
that
means
means
it's kind
it's
of like
kind of like
breathing.
breathing.
This is
This
something
is
that you
something that
do.
you do.
So you
So
gotta
you
be
gotta
you gotta become more
become more
conscious
conscious.
of what you're doing and wake up. You got to stay awoke. And right now, what you're saying is, I'm just operating in you drinking water. You got to breathe, so you're breathing. That's what that numbness does for you. You can't allow that to happen. You got to be conscious. So you got to seek a relationship with your creator and find out what it is that he wants you to do. And you got to stay there. Now, that means you got to be still, and being still, that's a lot. See, most time people keep it moving so they don't have to deal with it. You're gonna have to be still for a moment and let him deal with you, and just stay there for a moment, and he'll give you what you need. But you have to seek after that. You got to be still and conscious. You definitely do. Now, can you tell me what type of man is it that you're desiring?
Um, I I believe in God. I definitely believe in God. I At this point, I would want a man of God. Um, but to be honest with you, I still don't know. I really still don't know. See, that's what scares me, right? Is that like I say I want love, but I still don't know what I want from a man. So even when you talk about being covered by, I've never thought of a man as covering me, like ever, right? I've thought of God that way, but I've never thought about it like a man is supposed to cover. Ooh.
So
So
you have
you
to
have
have
to
that
have that
relationship
relationship
with
with
God
God
so you can
so you
get the
can get
true
the true
alignment
alignment
of how
of
a
how a
marriage is
marriage is.
supposed to be. Because how it works is God, it's Jesus, it's the man, and then you will understand the covering that I'm talking about. So you have to actually be still enough for him to show you exactly how it's supposed to be. But what I was hoping is that you didn't resent men in any way, because that's become a huge problem for Black women, especially in these spaces. They're now resenting their covering, and the covering is it's big. It's not just we say it so lightly, but it's covering from the world. It's all these things. It's covering from social media. It's covering for all the negative influences. It's covering from young Miamis and the city girls and all them women who tell you that you got to have a boss chick mentality, that you need to use this man, that you can go out here and do a sneaky link and all of that. It's covering from all of that stuff that gets into a woman's head that tells her it's okay to do this if you need to get what you want. You don't have to be in survival mode. You don't have to be. So you have to understand, you have to have that relationship with the Father in order to know that he also created man, just as he created us. And we're not superior nor better. We're just as junky and trashy as they can be also. We all need some fixing, but you have to know the divine order and try to align yourself with what he tells you. And then it all will come to you. It will. You'll ask, you can answer that question at that time.
I agree. I agree. And I want to say that too. Even though I like rap music, but when I look at girls like that, Megan, Nikki, I love Nikki. I love those girls, but I see broken women. I see broken women because I recognize it. I see it. I'm just like, and we can't keep perpetuating some women that like you could just use them in and take me in and things like that because, like I said, it creates this never ending cycle to me between men and women. And when you get to the point where sex is just transactional and you don't, because it becomes, once it's transactional, it's very easy to take your emotions out of it, right? Whether that's a man paying for it or a woman receiving the money for it, it makes it very easy to take your emotions off the table and then stop caring. And for me, it was just kind of like, like you keep, I don't know, it's kind of like you keep cutting on a wound and you want it to heal, but you don't realize that you keep cutting the wound open and you're not healing it. You're not, you're not putting any ointment on it. You just keep cutting the wound because for whatever reason, and it makes no sense, right? So, but yeah, it's oof.
You got to
do the work.
You gotta do the work. That's the hard part, and I think that's what people, and I hope they hear the genuineness in my voice and just know that like I'm just a regular person. Like I never plan to go viral. I've been having my Instagram for almost 10 years and it was just like perfect curated, photos and things like that. But this is a message that I think people are really, listening to because it's touching people and people are realizing it. And I want to be loved, and I want to see women in healthy relationships. And I hate the discord that is on social media between black men and women. I don't hate men. I'm not mad at men. I'm not one of those women that say like I don't need a man. And no, I still love men. I still love men. Like I'm not blaming men for how I interacted with them, like, because that's not fair, like, and I assume that it's probably hard for men to hear from black women like all the time too, like, oh, y'all aren't this and y'all aren't that, and vice versa. But I hope that by me being accountable and like examining my own flaws and things like that, that maybe, just maybe, that kind of opens up the doors for deeper conversations, and maybe, just maybe, that kind of changes the way that we operate on social media, because it's crazy. Like it didn't used to be like that too, but now like social media is like it's booty and boobs and all kind of stuff. Like it's wild right now. It's wild.
So listen, I want
I
to
want to
open up the
open up the
lines and
lines and
answer a few
answer a few
questions that the
questions that
people have
people
in
have in
the
the
chat.
chat.
You
You
know,
know,
I thank you for being here again, and we are so off on our time, but I want to answer a couple of questions and get you out of here. And listen, another way that you can do this, of course, I want you to be journaling. And, you don't have to worry about what people believe or what have you or don't believe in today's day, at this present day. But make sure that you continue on and journal what you're doing, and you can make us a believer. One right now you got your boobs out, you're showing us you're sexy, but in about 6 weeks you might have a turtleneck on. Who knows? You might feel differently about the boobs. Who knows? But anyway, we're gonna drop the link in the chat. We're gonna bring a couple people up, and over here at SB Nation, people are always respectful, so you don't have to worry about the craziness. So, but we're gonna try to answer these questions as well as we can, and I'm gonna keep up with you because I want you to win, and I want you to be able to touch other women, and I myself want to touch other women that I feel like need to be covered, because the things I hear, like you just said, on social media. And then too, this is a big deal. And I don't know if you realize this, but social media is one of the worst things that happened to a Black woman. One of the worst things. It's the hugest influence that can alter a good woman. A woman could be so positive and different things, then all of a sudden they're off the cliff. So let's bring a few people up here and let's get to talking. Let's see what we got.
Hi.
Hi, Tamika. Hello. How you
How are you
doing?
guys?
Doing
I'm
good.
awesome.
You want to bring Bolo and Black Man? All right. Hey, Bolo, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Black Man Unfiltered, how you doing?
I'm good, Suge. How are you today?
Doing good. Okay, so y'all meet Miss J. Monroe, and I'm gonna let Miss Tamika go first. Tamika, go ahead.
Hey, Miss J. My name is Tamika. I'm 24 years old, and I'm interested in being married in the near future. And I want to know for you. I mean, two questions. I kind of came late in the stream, so you probably already answered this. My first question is, how old are you? And then my second question is, at what point in your life did you start to realize that you no longer wanted to go down the path that you were previously going, or like you realized that like, oh my gosh, this stuff is really hard, and I really need love and I need somebody. Can't
Okay.
hit her.
So I'm 36. I would say, whew, I think it didn't hit me till I turned about 30, maybe. And then being a single mom, because being a single mom changes you so much, right? And especially having a son, and then just not even, like she mentioned now, like I don't know how to get out of this whole sexy or I don't know, maybe it's a Jezebel spirit. I don't know. But at 30, I started praying, and I've been praying to God for like a really long time. Like, I don't want to be this person. See, when I look at women like you and her, that's what I want to be. A respectful woman, a respected woman, right? And y'all forgive me because I get so emotional. But I've been operating in this mindset for so long that it becomes hard to change it. And if you want to be married, keep respecting yourself. The same things that she told me. Don't feel like you have to be on social media and look like those IG girls, because I promise you, and I tell women all the time, that if it was just about a body, if it was just about being sexy, if it was just about these other things, don't you think that so many of these sexy IG models and everything else, like, they would be wiped up? Those are never the men, those are never the girls that men marry, ever. Look at all your favorite IG girls. I don't know if you follow any of them. I'm not trying to be funny. Men do not marry those type of women. They marry the women that are, that are respectful. They marry the women that can, they can bring home to their mothers. They marry the women that they can bring to the parties for their, their work and things like that. And I think for a long time, sometimes as a woman, that, when you believe that your body or your looks is all that you have to offer somebody, and then when that's off the table and you don't have that anymore, then you get products like me, right? And it's not to put myself down, but that's the truth. That's the truth. And to be married, you are a beautiful girl. Don't feel like you have to be anything else that this world is trying to put out, because, baby girl, I'm telling you right now, it's not what people think. Not even as me as a woman. Sometimes I feel like for the men too, when young men see like the rappers and things like that, and they think that maybe that's the only way to be successful or get the things that they want, it's a lie. It's so a lie. It's so a lie. And I didn't realize it till I became a parent. I'm getting older. I have an 11-year-old, and I'm like, you know this ain't it. This ain't it. It's not it. It's just not.
I
I
appreciate
appreciate
you
you
and
and
your sharing your
sharing your
story.
story.
And
And
I don't think there's an echo. I don't think there's a lot of I would say older women for my age, right? I don't think there's a lot of older women really telling us what's going on, right? I feel like we have been programmed and told that, our body is what it is, especially if you're just a viewer of social media. And this is where you're getting most of your information from or perception from, So I appreciate you, regardless of whatever feedback you've been getting as a young lady who was able to witness what it is that you put out there. I felt like you was genuine. I pray that, God delivers you and that God, really is transform you into the woman that you desire, but ultimately the woman that he called for you to be. And I'll pray for you and your son. And I thank you. I really do appreciate you so much. So thank you. Thank you, security boss, for this. This was important for us to all see. So I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Tamika. So Jay, we have a super chat, a $9.99 super chat. It's coming from Natasha Vincent. Natasha says, today's video question is she wife ready? May Jay answer whether she is now and or the 3 steps she's taken to be one in the near future. She wants to know, are you
Are you
wife
wife
ready?
ready?
And if
And if
not,
not,
what are the
what are
3
the three
steps that
steps
you're
that you're
taking?
taking
So you
so
will
you
be the
will
near
be the near
future.
future?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think I'm ready just yet, because one breakthrough moment, or one moment of realization doesn't heal everything that you're dealing with. I think that it's gonna take God to continue working on those things internally. And the 3 steps I say I would take, y'all, is first thing, I had to take accountability, right? I had to look at myself and walk in my truth and say, you know what? This is who I am. That's how, it's not who I am, but that's how I've been presenting myself. Definitely therapy. I know a lot of people keep saying to go to therapy, y'all. So I have been to therapy before. So I think that's good too. And then I think the third thing is that if I really am serious about wanting to be married, is being my husband is not in the club. He's not in the section. He's not on Instagram. He not, you know what I'm saying? Like, putting myself in places where, good men or quality men would be. But I'm scared. I'm scared of that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much,
Natasha, for your
Natasha, for your
$9
and
and 99
99
cents.
cents. That
We don't
we
have
don't
the
have
money
the
line
money line
today.
today.
So
So
I got
I
you though.
got you though.
Okay, so the
Okay, so
next
the next
person
person
in, I
in,
think
I
was
think, was
Bolo.
Bolo.
Hello, Dusto. How you doing?
All is well. Somebody had an echo too. Just
I
saying.
know
Oh,
my sound is totally off, so we're trying to make sure everybody gets to hear each other. But Bolo, I think you're next, sir. Go ahead.
No, you can let them go.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to Black
You can
Man
let them
Unfiltered.
go.
Okay, Black Man, Black Man.
I'm here. I
Okay,
thought Bolo. I wanted Bolo to cook because I don't want Bolo trying to take what I'm saying to try to, how Bolo is.
okay.
Uh, you know,
Dusto, we're going to Dusto. Dusto, go ahead and give us what you got.
um, hmm. Couple questions. One, in your cell phone now, do you got 5 dudes that you know that are interested in you right now? You're muted.
In my personal, no. In DMs, yes, but that doesn't do anything for me because I already know what it is. Like, yeah, like, but no, in my personal phone, no.
What do you
What do you
mean?
mean?
What do you
What do
mean
you
by
mean by
that?
that?
Why is that
Why is
going?
that going?
Um,
Um,
what do you
what do you
mean by
mean by
because they're in
because
the
they're in
system, you know what it is? I can't hear you.
Instagram. So a man sliding in my DM, like, I already know, like, you want something from me. Like, I doubt any, no man is sliding in my DM because you just think I'm a nice girl. Like, no.
I don't
I
get
don't
it.
get it.
You don't get it?
No.
No.
Okay, so for instance, like, if you go to my Instagram page, I won't say that there's a bunch of, like, I don't think my Instagram page gives off like sexual energy or anything else like that. But as a woman, 9 times out of 10, if a man is sending me a message through a inbox, what are you here for? Like, you're not here because you want to talk to me. Like, people on social media really just communicate, I mean, besides business, but usually if a man is sending you a DM, that's because, in my opinion, I'm taking it as like you just want something physical, or you think you're gonna link up with me, or you think that you're gonna smash because you sent me a DM, Or, like Yo Gotti used to say, it goes down in the DM. Not in mine. No. And there's nobody on my personal phone either. So I don't have 5 dudes. I don't have a roster of men. I don't have a roster of men that I can call. If that was the case, I wouldn't be sitting in a hotel if I was still operating in that type of behavior. Does that kind of answer it for you?
It does, but I think it misses the whole point. I think it misses the whole point. If you want a man, and there's a man who approaches you, how do you get a man if you avoid everybody who approaches you? And you already got a false narrative that they want this, they want this, they want that. And if you spent your time dealing with that, it's not adding up. If not, let's just say 9 out of 10 men, they wanted sex. The truth is 10 out of 10 of them want it. If one of them is decent, all you had to do is talk to 10 of them. You would have talked to one decent person. So meaning if you want a man and you're not doing any, and they can't even talk to you, how you expect to get married? How they gonna marry?
That's true. That's true. And I'm stuck on that one. That's true. But again, I guess because I feel like I'm already this person, I don't respond. But that's true. How you gonna meet somebody if you don't talk? But I don't know.
So can I say something? So Dusto, she's
Mm-hmm.
in a position where she sees men a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You are totally a utility to her at this point. And until she can recognize value, she needs to continue to avoid. Right now, men are utility. It's about survival and what you can do for me. Only money or things of that nature. She's already said it's always transitional. So at this point, she can't even hold a conversation with a man that doesn't consist of those things. She has to get to a point where she can hold a conversation. If we ain't talking about nothing but the plants, but she's not ready for that. So that's why she shouldn't be entertaining. She's not confident in herself to entertain a man for nothing but transitional or utilities. So she does need to stay away. She has to preserve herself, find herself before she can present herself to a man that may be her husband. Did that just rhyme, y'all? Did y'all hear that? And I ain't got no bone. Huh! Shoot. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I also came late.
I'm done.
I ain't got no other question. I can't tell you anything. I got nothing.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to go back and rewatch and then put your questions in the comment section, and I will definitely have them answered for you. Okay?
Okay. No, just based off what you just said,
Oh, okay.
there's nothing to ask.
Oh, you know I take care of you, don't you?
Yeah, good.
All right, so listen, Dusto, you're welcome to stay here if you want to learn a little bit more about what we're talking about or whatever. It's up to you. Okay?
All right. My apologies. I missed the first part though. So
Okay. Either way, you got it. So we're gonna go with black men, the 2 B's in the room, black men and Bolo. So how about if we do this as like a teamwork? So if we're gonna do it in order, let's see, which one of y'all gonna go first? Black man, Bolo, which one? Let's do it in order. We ain't gonna gang up on them, but we're gonna
I
do
respect
it
my
all together.
elders. Yeah, I respect
Okay.
my elders. Bolo
Okay.
can go first.
Okay, Bolo, he's respected. Let's do this in teams. Let's have this conversation. Let's ask these questions so we can get to a better place. Go ahead, Bolo.
I'm gonna get you, black man. I promise you, I'm gonna get you. So I've been listening to the whole interview, and again, I think what we do a lot of is listen to what people are saying opposed to what they're not saying, right? And that's where a lot of the times we go wrong. I'm just gonna be 100, and with all due respect. Um, Again, a man shouldn't be in your thought process at all, right? In the aspect of you have work to do on you. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. You still get triggered when we speak about men. You were triggered a few times. And it starts with the mirror, right? The mirror, looking at the mirror. It starts with AAA. Acknowledgement, acceptance, and application. Acknowledging that you are the reason why you're in the place that you're in today. No one else is the reason. Okay? You made a statement before when you said that a lot of these men talk about women, calling them thoughts or whatever, but you pick these women. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you pick the men, right? So when you're talking about, men, women don't have babies because these men are saying these things. A lot of the times women have babies because they're looking for value in themselves, because a lot of the times they say no one loves me, but my child will. And that's a bad reason to have a child, because it's not about you. It's about the child, right? It's about being selfish when you think that way. Um, so again, acknowledgement. Growth doesn't happen until acknowledgement is apprehended, until you grab it and hold it. Growth doesn't happen. Because once you can say it's because of me, I understand that everyone has a part to play in this, but I'm not pointing, because if I don't learn the part that I played, then I can't damn near see what you did. I have to be able to see me. And then we have acceptance, accepting the ramifications of the decisions that you make. There has to be ownership in that. And then and only then will you have growth, because now you see where you left step instead of taking that right step. And it's, when we're talking about prayer, a lot of the times we look, we put God on a timer. We pray, give him 10 minutes. And if he doesn't respond, we continue pushing on. For me, this is not scriptorial, this is Bolo's thought. The most important portion of prayer is being patient and waiting for the answer. When God tells you, love your brother as yourself, the love starts with you first. Women, most of the time, look for the feeling of love opposed for the action of love. Love is an action word. It's not a feeling. Because if me and black men are having a conversation and I hit black man, there's a trigger of things that's going to happen. He's going to get pissed off and then he's going to hit me back. It's the same thing with love. It's a reaction. There's a reason why SB loves Mr. Boss. There were things that he did that triggered, and her response was, I'm following this dude. I'm following him. So love is an action word. So love is generous, patience, it's empathetic, it's sympathetic, it's directional, it's empathy, kindness, forgiveness, and there's a whole lot of pillars that are in that word, but it would be asinine to continue saying that. So we just give you one word. We give you love. It starts with you, dear. You need therapy because you get triggered, and you have to understand your relationship of not having a father in the home has affected you. It has affected you because you don't know. The one thing that when you take a father out of the home, and I think black men would agree with me, that little girl doesn't know what it is to feel protected, to feel unconditional love, to know that she's guided, to know that she's covered. Because the first man that a little girl falls in love with is her father. This is who you measure every man up against that you meet in your life. There's a semblance of your father in that man. And because that was robbed of you, you didn't have this information, so you went to rocking out. It's kind of like going on a trip and having your GPS and it shuts down. Instead of pulling over and trying to reconnect, what do? We continue driving. And we end up worse than where we started. Instead of pulling over, reconnecting our GPS and start moving. So you were forced to move in a way that you're now in this position that you're in. So it starts with taking accountability. There's still a lot of work that you need to do. But I'll offer my services to you if you want to talk. SB knows how to get in contact with me. I guess I'll pause the mic right now and let my brother black man cook a little bit.
All right, but before we black man, hold on for one moment. Typing has a question, and I think I've kind of asked this question a little bit, but I'm going to ask it one more time. He says, "Can you ask her what is a man and what does a man look like?" I kind of posed it earlier of man's purpose, but if you want to think about it for a minute, I want you to think about that question for a minute because we're going to kind of in with that question, I believe, but we're going to go to black man first. We got a couple more people that want to come up and talk to you, but I want you to think about that question after all this conversation. I want you to think about that question and have an answer for us. Black man, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I can. I hear you actually very well. So go ahead.
All right. So my question is, after everything that you've been through, Miss Monroe, and everything that you're trying to do, in this moment, in this season, are you practicing abstinence right now?
You're muted.
Yes, I've been celibate for 5 years. No
Okay.
relationships, no nothing. Like just me.
Right.
Right.
And, and you
And
also
you
said
also said
you have
you have
children, right?
children, right?
Or
Or
how many
how many
children do you
children
have?
do you have?
Just one.
So,
So
you have a
you have a
son.
son.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
let me
let me
ask you
ask you
this:
this: if
if your son,
if your son,
um, and this is just me asking, me playing devil's advocate here. So if your son came home and he said, "Mama, I want you to meet my new girlfriend," and she came in, because I know you're very overprotective of your son. I could, I'm betting everything that you are. And so if he came in and he said, "This is my girlfriend," and the girl that he was dating um, was you, right? Had the same lifestyle, did everything that you have done, and he was dating her. Would you be okay with your son dating a woman that resembles you?
Black man, hold on one second because we lost her, but she's back. But I don't know if she actually heard that question. So just give us a second to get her back up there.
Okay.
She's going in and out for some reason.
Okay.
But that's a good question, Black man. Okay, we bringing her up now. I think. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, it was freezing. I'm sorry, I missed what you were saying.
Uh,
If you could repeat it, please.
yeah, no problem.
yeah,
I
no
said
problem.
if
I
your
said
son
if your
was
son was
dating
dating
and he
and
came
he came
home and
home
he said,
and he
"Mama,
said,
this is
"Mama,
my
this is my
girlfriend,"
girlfriend,"
and the
and the
girlfriend was
girlfriend
you.
was you.
Everything that
Everything
you've done
that
in
you've
your
done in
life,
your life,
everything that you've been through, he's dating her, and he's looking for your approval. Are you okay with your son dating someone like you?
You're muted.
Yes, because regardless of my past, regardless of my flaws, one of the things that I tell my son is that when it comes to dating a woman, make sure that she loves you, make sure that she respects you, and then make sure that she's kind to you. And if we're talking about old me, young me, then no. Like no, I don't want my son to date a girl that's just going to use him. And we talk about that. Don't date a girl that just wants you to buy her things or where it's clear that she just wants monetary things for you, right? And then if we're talking about me as in the person that I am, like what I'm saying, the loving the person that I am, not just what y'all are hearing. So whoever said no, not just what y'all know about my past, right? When I take the things about me as aside of like the hurt things about me, and I do look at the things that I do enjoy about myself. Yes, then absolutely yes. A woman that loves God, yeah. A woman that's going to respect you, absolutely. A woman that cares about you, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you
So
think?
do you think?
So you're
So
saying
you're
that I
saying
want to
that
make
I
sure I'm
want to make
clear.
sure I'm clear.
So you're
So
saying
you're
that right
saying
now,
that
if
right
your
now,
son
if
brought
your
a
son
woman
brought a
home,
woman home, because right now
you're saying you
you're
just
saying
did a
you just did a
video
video
where you are
where you are
highly
highly
emotional, and you
emotional,
said
and you
that,
said
and
that,
you
and you
repeated the
repeated
lyrics
the
and said,
lyrics
"Hey,
and said,
listen,
"Hey,
I know
listen."
how to do this. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I know how to do all these things. I want to be loved." And if you saw this woman on TikTok or Instagram doing this video, and she was dating your son, you would give your son advice to stay with this woman or to date her if
You're
you saw the
talking.
If you
video.
saw the video.
Yeah, so, and let me tell you too, to the people who say you're delusional, okay? I'm talking about in the essence, y'all are just seeing something that I made on TikTok. So for everybody's like, oh, you're a hoe, you admitted all these other things. Then no, I don't want my son dating that kind of woman. But when I think about me as a person of outside of what y'all know, because y'all didn't know me before I went viral. So if I didn't tell y'all this about my life story and things like that, none of y'all would know that. So when I
Jay,
think about it,
Jay,
Jay,
just had a
just had a
conversation.
conversation.
Keep going with
Keep
what you're
going with what
saying.
you're saying.
You're gonna
yeah,
get
You're gonna
this.
so
get this.
You're gonna get
You're
this
gonna get
because
this
this
because
is what we're
this is what
fighting
we're
against.
fighting against.
So
So
you got to make
you
the
got to make the
change.
change.
You're gonna get
You're
it.
gonna get
So
it. So
ignore and stay
ignore and
on
stay on
your
your
path of
path.
being that woman that you want to be. Don't worry about that. You've done all those things. You're accounting for those things. Don't listen. Bolo just told you about being triggered. Those are real things. This is what happened when you put your life out there. I'm not telling you it was good or bad to do so. You chose to do it. So you're going to get knocked around. But guess what? You're going to journal your life and you're going to say, guess what? Y'all knocked me around the other day, but look at me now. And you just said maybe Kevin Samuels needed to do that, needed to have those harsh moments so you could see how the world views you. And that's what he's trying to get you to see now, how the world views you. Would you want your son being subject to a woman just like yourself, or the way women view the world sees the woman like you? That's just all he's trying to say. So that's just I feel you, but I want you to stay here, because getting angry or getting caught up in it only knocks you off where you have to be. And you have to be true to what you're saying you're trying to do. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because not too much on my son, but so no. The answer is no. I wouldn't want him to be with a woman like me. No, that answer for y'all. No, absolutely not.
Right. And also,
Absolutely not.
yeah. And my last question would be, um, with the video going viral, and you said that you are looking for love. And I also heard you say that you want to speak to young girls and help them and navigate them through life, not to make these same things. Are you okay are you okay if that man never comes? Are you okay with just being who you are, staying celibate, raising your son the way he needs to be raised, getting him in some leadership programs, you taking your therapy and helping other girls? Are you okay with knowing that that man may never come and you may be just used by God to help other women not end up in that situation? Are you okay with that? You're muted.
I'm okay with that because I accepted that a long time ago, and that was part of the video of me crying, like realizing that not everybody's gonna be able to look. A man may not be able to look past your past, and I don't need forgiveness from the men. I don't need men because there was another comment that like, oh, you don't fit the bill and we don't owe that to you. I'm not looking for forgiveness from men. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with if a man never comes along, because if nothing else, I've already experienced men, right? I've experienced men. I know what sex is like. I know what all that is like. Okay, so if it never happens, that's okay too. That's okay.
Yeah, but
Because we have to be okay with it, right?
well,
I
you're
have
wanting
to.
something that marriage that is all contained within marriage. And if you can align yourself to meet that man that will be accepting, that is actually what you want. So I guess you would say, yeah, I'll be all right if I don't get it. But ultimately, that's what you want. And that's what you're aligning yourself to be. You're becoming anew. Your mindset is changing. If your mindset changes and you realize your purpose, the male's purpose, your husband's purpose as a wife, then why not? Why can't I have this? There are men out there, but today it may be very difficult to see because there's so many things. People used to say, you have shackles of seeing on your eyes, can't see everything. But when all that is removed and peeled back, you'll be able to see things way clearer. You'll be able to know which way to go, how to answer these questions, because at that point in time, your testimony will be a wholeness, and then you'll be able to really help somebody at that point. But right now you're going through. But this is all for you to see yourself, because often you already know we don't see ourselves. You know it. So this is what the sounding board is all about. You seeing yourself. So relax. I know it ain't easy. I know it ain't easy. But before you say anything else, Mr. Dre Dale, how you doing today? He says, Miss Monroe, your journey is just beginning. He's absolutely right. Continue building your foundation on the word. Your mess will be your message. I just said it. Dre said it better. That's how it will be. But you got to have that foundation. And, listen, let me tell you what the foundation does. And also the accountability piece that you mentioned. When you are truly accountable for what those things you do, you take others' power away. You get what I'm saying? Like me saying, oh, Jay, you a hoe. Yeah, girl, I was back in the day. But guess what? Not no more. And that would even affect you, because guess what? You've already accounted for that. Somebody telling me, oh, you was a single mom. You did it. I sure did. Now what? Look at me. I sure was. But look at me. My testimony is absolute because I'm winning. That's the kind of attitude you have once you come out the other end of being accountable. But you got to account for it all. You got to lay it all out there. Let God handle it. Give it to him. and then you'll come out anew. But your mindset has to be changed. You can't allow yourself to fall back into it, and you just can't. One more thing before we go on. Miss Parker, hello, how are you? We appreciate your honesty and willingness to heal. Thank you so much for your $1.99 super chat. All right, next question. Go ahead, Black man.
No, I'm saying the reason that I asked that last question is because any man of substance, and this is if we're having an adult conversation here, any man of substance that is actually has something, like you said, God fearing, he has his head on straight. He's a successful man. He's not about no games, right? He's not about no games. He got it. I mean, he's ready to go, right? A man of God, ready to go. Good job. He got good relationships, good resources, and you're looking for a man like that, as you described earlier. The reason I asked that question is because any man of relevance would want to date you or to be with you. He will always have that that video to go back to because it went viral, right? So he'll always have that in the back of his mind. So that's why I asked that question, because most men in 2022, they have low tolerance for like the TikTok stuff. Like most men don't even want their women on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so with knowing that video's out there, it may scare some men away, or may make men second guess and be like, you know what? I didn't work too hard to get where I'm at. I don't need this coming back on me. And how do you feel about the man that you want may run away, or may say, you know what? I didn't work too hard. I can't have this coming back on me.
I would say for the men who think like that, like they don't need to worry about that, because it wasn't you then, it won't be you now, and it won't be you in the future. I understand, and trust me, because I did pray to God, and I understand that it would take a very secure man. I take away like all the, he got a good job and things like that. I'm talking about a man of God, like, right, like a man of God that can look and say, you know what, like, we're humans, right? We absolutely can judge people, but I understand you have a past. And for me, if a man can't see me and say, you know what, I respect her just for being real, I get it. Everybody has a past. Everybody comes with some kind of baggage, in my opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? If a man, and I get it, because I get that men have this thing, like they want their woman to, they don't want their woman to have a reputation or whatever else, for whatever reasons. But I mean, if a man truly can't love me, right, past all my flaws, and I'm not telling a man that he has to accept the things that I did. I'm not telling a man that, I'm saying, oh, you got to accept my kid. I think that's a big misconception that is out there about the modern woman and things like that. That's not what I'm looking for. I want genuine love, right? I want genuine love from a man.
So let me say,
Go ahead.
This is the last thing. So how old is your son, if you don't mind me asking? How old is the young man? You're muted, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
He's 11.
Okay, so with him being 11, my last question to you is going to be a little tough. Did you think about him before you made that video? Because now that video is viral, everybody knows, or if they don't know, they will know, that that's you, and that you're his mom, and that he has to go to school. He has to be around other kids. That's daddy's probably discussing you, uncle's probably discussing you. And how do you think this may affect your son in the long run, with having that pressure on him from the video?
I didn't think about him, and not in a selfish way. I was going through a lot when I made that video. I felt like that would be my last video, and I just wanted my truth to be out there. And in some ways, I almost wanted my son to hate me, so that, if I'm not here, then you don't have to miss me, because it's my fault, right, that you have the life that you have. And that's what I admitted to, right, when I said I'm messing up other people around me, right? Not because I made the video and went viral, but realizing, like, as a mom, I didn't choose right. I didn't choose the right man. I didn't procreate with the right person. You're suffering. That's not fair to you, right? But that's the easy thing to do. But no, like, and
people are going to be people. The internet is always going to be the internet. I don't think it's any different than maybe the children that have mothers that are rappers and show their bodies, or have, or they're in the blogs and things like that, or celebrities that have children that are in the blogs and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I do try to do is be honest with my son about who I am, and I don't get into the deep things that I've did, but my son knows who I am. He knows the mistakes that I've made. He knows how he knows about the he
Right.
knows
And you know,
about the relationship with me and his father, right?
right. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I've done panels on my show with a lot of men, and a lot of men that are grown men now. They're in their 40s, late 40s, mid 40s, 30s. They talk about their moms, and they talk about the pain that was subject to them as they were children. And they talk about how they suffered through it, how they suffered in silence, and how it resulted in some of their behavior. So, and this particular thing, your son is 11. So, some of the things that your son may be experiencing outside of you, he may not say to you because he knows my mom's emotional. My mom's going through a tremendous time right now. So, I'm not only I'm just going to protect my mom, but that's really not. He's protecting you, but he's not really protecting himself. So, is your son in therapy right now, or is he? Are you planning on putting him in therapy to try to get in front of this? Because what we don't want is for your son in 7 years he'll be 18 years old, and so what we don't want is for him to become a man, right? And start looking for a woman like his mom, or start behaving in a way because of the pain he endured from his mom, and he didn't get the healing from it or the therapy from it.
Okay,
So
so
is
listen, let me interrupt that for just a moment. Let me just say a couple things. Black man, very good. You have made her aware of something that none of us ever think about, especially when we live in the life in the world.
right.
Jay, your son is 11 years old. He's at a very impressionable age. He's maybe already has sealed the deal on who he's going to be, but it's still time, like Black man said, to get you into counseling, or get him into counseling also, just for your life. Period. It's the way he lives, because you mentioned being in a hotel. That's not a stable place for a family. You got to get to a stable place. But I want to say this to you for foremost. Um,
Um,
Never use the world as the example for your life. I heard you just mention that that's how some celebrity kids, moms, kids, or whatever. That's not the example of how you want your life to be. You don't want to have anything to do with what celebrities do. That's so much dysfunction that is, and we just lost her, but I'm going to continue to say what I'm getting ready to say. It's so much dysfunction that goes on in homes of celebrities that you never want to make that your example of how you want your life to be. That is not what you want. So I'm going to wait. She's definitely going to come back up. And Black man, that was some good. That was some excellent awareness that you brought to the table.
table.
And she's at a good point in her life where she can get her and her son some counseling, because you're definitely right. But Jay, did you hear what I said about making the world your example?
I missed some of it because it was like it was freezing. So could you just go over that again, please?
Yeah, I was telling you, never use the world for your example. You
Mm-hmm.
just was using celebrities' children, just how some of the celebrities' children respond. Celebrities' kids are jacked up, most of them, because they see and go through too much. So that's what we're trying to do we're trying to protect our kids. See, that's where the covering and protection starts. And right now, you're all he has. So you got to start with the protection. He doesn't need to know half of the things that he probably knows right now. And that's what Black man is alluding to. So you have to keep him covered and protected as much as you can. He's at a good age. He's at a very good age where you can do that, or you can try to put those things in place. Again, keep journaling the things that you're going through, though. But he's right. It's some of the things on that social media video that you probably shouldn't have said, but you have to also explain that. But do it as though he's a kid, not that he's the man of the house.
Yeah, because kids are very harsh. And they'll say, "Oh man, your mama, boy, I heard your mama do this. Damn, they ain't know your mama get." At 11, kids are very mean, and so he could really suffer from that video, like very much so suffer. And I wanted to bring up the child because I don't think anybody else brought it up, but I want to make sure we protect him because like you said, you didn't think before you did it, and now that it's done, we can't go back and change anything. But we definitely have to get that young man some help, because we don't want him, again, we talk about on these spaces, we talk about Pookies and Ray Rays, and and I talk to men all the time that say they had a rough time with their mama. Their mama did this, their mama had this, they did. So I don't want your son to be one of those men that are broken, but he don't tell nobody. And when he gets older, his behavior is a reflection of what mama did.
Absolutely. All right. So go in protect mode, but not the man of the house mode. So we're gonna move on to Mel. Thank you, black man. You could either stay. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Mel, but if you think of some more things, just let me know. I'm gonna let Mel go ahead and speak. And then remember, Jay, you got a question. The question was, we're gonna end with that question. What is a man and what a man looks like? That's gonna be our last question. I want you thinking about it as we go, because these are all men that you're talking to. These are all men that are pouring to their homes, that are being those examples. And you said you didn't have any, but this is what it looks like. They're speaking to you like men. They're having strong questions, or they're presenting strong arguments like men. They're making you think about things that an emotional woman would never make you think of. They're putting you in a place to be accountable and what to be accountable for. So you got to hear it. So we're going to move on though. Mel, how you doing? Mel? Mel is taking a break. So listen, let's read Mr. Dale's $2 super chat. He says, Miss Monroe, take Romans 12, 1 through 2. Oh, wait a minute. I've missed that. Romans 12, 1 to 2 to heart, please. And he's praying for you. Again, another man. This is what you find here. You'll have men that are serious about what they're doing. And these are the voices that you need to hear. This is the covering. See how he covered you with that? These are the things they think about. They're very logical in thought process. Me, I'm just like, baby girl, don't be crying. Yeah, account for yourself. Stop doing that. You're gonna get better. But they add the meat to the bread. So anyway, Mr. Dale, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. He says, everyone have their perspectives. Let him who's without sin cast the first stone. Allow the fire of others to build you. Don't get offensive to defensive. Don't get offensive or defensive. Y'all ain't got my glasses on. In every situation, just breathe and exhale. Very good. Thank you so much. Y'all, I ain't got my money line, but we working on it. We're gonna get it. But Mel, did you get your
hello?
oh, there you go. How you doing today,
No, I
Mel?
was at on my mic on my iPad. Yeah.
How you doing today?
I'm all right. How y'all doing?
Doing good. So Mel, do you have any questions for Miss Monroe?
Well, like some advice.
Okay.
Pass down to black man just hit up some also too already. But I'm gonna have to add some extra nuance to that also too. Last night I seen the interview you did on TikTok, and there was a specific question dude asked you on there. I'm not gonna bring up in details and stuff, but just like Black Man was saying, if I was your manager or something like that, I probably would have told you don't answer that question. Just there's some things that you shouldn't split out there online, because just like they were saying, kids would see that, your son would see that, their friends would see that and everything, and they will bring that back at them like that. So there's some I know you want to speak your truth, but try not to give too much details of it and stuff. There's some things you got to keep to yourself and everything, because it will be used against you. And of course, now you got a kid, it will be used against him and stuff. And his age now, he's gonna be so fragile and everything that on the son side, he's gonna be getting a couple of fights behind that and stuff. So yeah, you got to be careful how you speak out your truth so much out there, giving too much information in detail. They ask you certain questions, just don't answer that. It sounded like you wasn't going to answer it at first. You should have stuck to that and everything, So I would advise you not to answer too much questions, so much of certain details, not to put out there and stuff.
Okay. Very good.
Also want to say also too, yes, this day and age, a lot of men out here is not as empathetic as the way you want it to be. I'm one of them a little bit also too. I'm more like, I want to see the work before it's done, because we're speaking from my side of the pain. You got to understand, you did what you did out of survival, but on the man's side, they've been in some pain also too. I know you probably came across some good brothers also too along the way, and you did what you did to them, and you got to understand their pain side. So when you get in a space now online with dudes speaking to each other with certain pain, they came across women like you from your past that did this to them. Yeah, and then you come out changing, speaking your truth. There's going to be some harsh criticism like crazy, like as hell. And just like you said, you got to sometimes, you know what? You might have to take it a little bit. Just focus on your goal, on your mission and stuff. It's like a dude that's getting locked up out of jail, did his crime, and he's coming out prove that he changed. But some crimes you can't come back from. Some you're going to be tested hard like crazy. It will die down because as long as you put in the work and say you're legit, because we got some female content creators in the manosphere that got some pushback also too, but only small percentage proved that they was legit. Security Boss is one of them. They gave us some hard time also too, but she's still in the fire and everything too, and proving that I'm legit. So those percentage will die down. You got to put in the work and stuff. So and also too, there was another woman. I'm gonna mention this other woman compared to you, Miss Monroe, who has 4 kids, 4 different baby daddies. You probably might have seen that video too. Compared to how you speaking your truth and how she was speaking her rant, I'll give you more credit than her and stuff. Because the way that lady was sounding like crazy, on that video, she wasn't taking no accountability at all, period. The way she was ranting. And the big main question I wish I could ask that lady, I don't care if she felt offended or not. One of the baby fathers says she's doing her job, but she complained about the amount of child support she wasn't getting. It's not enough, which is BS. What I would ask that woman is, you know what? If you feel that way, would you let your child's father have custody of your kids? And guarantee she probably would not. And this is a question, I probably will ask you this question also too. I don't know the situation between you and your baby father, but if you feel like yourself in a struggle and whatever and being as your son, would you let your child's father have custody of him so you can raise him and be the man properly the way he's supposed to? So you can get yourself together?
So to answer that, I tried. Like I said, I don't want to put somebody else's business out there because they're not here to speak about that. But let me just say that my son does have a male cousin that he is enjoying him. He loves my son. And yes, I would let him take my son. I'm not crying because it's sad, but it's just like, but yeah, but I would let him take my son because I can see that he's a good man, and absolutely, and that's a hard thing too for a mother, right? To say I need some help, especially from a man. But yes, I would let him if he asked me to take my son, not like take him away from me, right? But I tried that with his father. But yeah, but yeah, I would definitely let him take him and raise him. Because he picked him up this weekend, right? And he told me that, and he had me crying. And I know he was genuine with it. And he was like, this is a time where your son, like, you need to let him be around positive male influences. As far as his father, like, I've tried that. And, like, no, that's just right now, that's not a question. But if there's another male member that I feel like is a positive influence for him and they want to step in and they want to help me or take over, like yes, absolutely yes, because I don't want to repeat that cycle, and I don't want my son to grow up and be what we call the Pookie and the Ray Rays, right? But that's me too being accountable, saying like I have to break that, and I know that by breaking it, I have to change, and then I have to get him around men that can show him how to be a man, because I'm not a man and I don't know anything about manhood. So yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would say another that though. Whatever men that you chose to be in your life, and if he is a good influence and everything, that definitely have an effect on your kid. Because some of us wanted to be stepfathers in our past. It just didn't work out. Me example was that also too, because I dealt with a woman that was technically she was no good, but I loved her daughter like she was my own. I had to break it off with her because how her mother was treating me, and I couldn't let her daughter see her mother doing that to me. And this is going to be a perception how she felt like she could either treat a man or was going to affect the child's relationship with future men in her life. And that's one thing that, we got to teach our single mothers. You got to be very careful how you treat the man that's actually treating you. I know y'all want a Russell Wilson type, but you also got to realize how you gonna treat the Russell Wilson in your life, and then when you have a kid, he's treating your kid like his own. He or she gonna see that also too. And everything.
Okay. Thanks, Mel. So listen, guys, I got a few more super chats I want to read, but we're going to end this with this question. The question is, what is a man and what a man looks like? This is from Brother Typin. But before we do that, Miss Jennifer, thank you so much for your suggestion and also your $10 super chat. She says, I really recommend you look into Esther Prep University. It's a game changer for women to get realigned with God's purpose and to detox off of trauma. This is good. You need to write this down. Let me know how it goes. I might have to check in the Esther. But anyway, it's a safe space for women to clean that up. This is good. Thank you so much, Miss Jennifer. Thank you so much for that. And Mr. James Turner, how are you doing? Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. And it says, hey, Jay, I've heard your story and I hear some advice again. And I hear some advice again. You don't have to say anything out loud if you don't want to. But what is now your plan for you and your son? What is the next step? All right. Thank you, Mr. Turner, for that. And listen, guys, Jay, I appreciate you so much for being here. I'm going to keep up with you. I want you to continue to journal this. And I want you to take us out of here answering this last question. What is a man? And what does a man look like to you right now at this present point? Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Say that again.
I would say for me, what a man would look like now is like you said, covering. Because I never thought about it like that. Just that protection, and not even a provider, just protecting me. That's to me. That's what a man. That's what I see a man as. Is that covering and that protection, which is something that I want. I think I would. Yeah. That's a hard one still to answer because I'm still struggling with that. But.
So right now, today, if you're looking for a man, you're saying you're looking for a man that represents covering and protection. How does that actually look, though? They want to know in your mind, if that's going to be hard to do, but configure that for us. Is that 6 feet? Of that 5 feet? Is that 4.5? That 4'11"? What does that look like?
It doesn't look like anything right now because I think that's a misconception that, like, yes, I want love, but I'm not actively seeking or looking for a man right now because I'm still too broken to want that. So I still, even though there's men on here and people telling me like what a man should be, but I still just trying to put that into words or a picture or a person. I haven't reached that yet. I haven't. I have to be honest.
So I want to say something to you. Earlier, we were going through what a man is per se, and how what if you don't like that type of man, or what kind of man you're looking for, and things of that nature. And what if a man didn't desire those qualities that you bring and what have you? If you align yourself with your Father, your Creator, and you get on your purpose, He's going to send you what you need. What you want to do is make sure you're in a good place to be able to see it. Because if you get hung up on your desires, you will miss it. He's going to send you what you need once you've done the work and you aligned yourself. But anytime in between then that you go messing around with it, trying to look for that love or be on that love quest, you're going to continue to get your past. So you got to look different. You got to look in the mirror one day and you're going to see Jay, but Jay's going to look totally different to you. And again, like I said, I don't know what that may look like. It may be like Jay in a turtleneck. I don't know. But I'm just saying it's going to look different. And it may be what you need, but you got to get yourself aligned correctly so you can recognize this is exactly what you need, and not, hey, this is what I want a man to. Even the quality of covering that comes with a good man. So it's really nothing to say. You know what I mean? It's almost like, you may have men asking you, are you willing to submit to me? That's not a question you should be answering because you don't know exactly what that looks. You don't know what that is. You need to wait and align yourself with being, having a relationship or a foundation with your creator. And then all those things will be given unto you. And that man, I think, will come and find you, but it'll be the man that you need. It's not going to be easy though, because remember, you've spent what, 30 years on the left. Now you're trying to get on the right. So it's going to take some time to straighten some things out for you to be able to recognize what the right actually looks like. But you got to start doing the work. And you have sit here and you've listened to these men talk to you. Don't make it your last time. Continue. Kevin Samuels represented the men speaking. Continue to hear that hard voice from these men. Continue to take what they're saying and put it into action. Like, hey, I never even thought about my son, because we don't. We get selfish and caught up in our own mess. But now you got something you need to think about. And again, he's not the man of the house. He's the boy that at this point you're trying to protect. But you got to love on him and treat him just that. I'm protecting him. So again, that's you acting in a way as a mother or wife. You're aligning yourself with what the creator would want you to do. So you have to figure that out. You have to figure out what he would want you to do as a woman, because right now most women are out of order totally, and we really shouldn't be talking to nobody at all. Let me read this. Tamika, thank you so much for your night, sis. Super Chat, she says, question, what actionable help did you Jay, receive? Have you received any help?
Like, I've been to therapy before. It's been a while. And I do take like medication for like depression and things like that. I do think mental health plays a big part in it too. But I definitely am going to listen to the people and start seeking therapy, maybe like a new therapist, and then family therapy as well. But so far, and I agree with some people that maybe you shouldn't put all your business like on social media, because social media is not really a place for therapy. But it's hard asking for help sometimes too, when you're used to doing it on your own, right? And you're just operating in your own thoughts, right? You've been doing it on your own for so long that you are stuck in the ways of what you think is right. And so unlearning all that, I don't know if that sometimes comes for therapy, because I feel like therapy is just like the emotional part, right, of when we're dealing with our trauma and things like that. But unlearning the behaviors that you've operated in for so long, like that's what I'm looking to fix. When I said like I didn't know how to fix me, right? Like I don't know how to fix these thoughts, these ideologies. I've been to therapy, right? I've forgiven the people that hurt me and things like that. I've already been on that path. I pray, I talk to God, but it's like, okay, God, but I like emotionally the behaviors, the thoughts, that's what I'm looking to change. And sometimes I don't know if therapy does that, because it's just more so like me talking to the therapist, right, and just getting out those things. But
so let me say this to you. Stop making the world your standard. Everything you say, the world has been the standard. So in other words, the influence of other women getting on social media, telling all their business, has influenced you to do it also. Check everything you do twice before you do it. The world is not a standard. You want better. The world is a terrible standard. It is not. It's not the way you want to live. You'll get jacked up because the people in the world do everything and all of nothing. And the sisterhood is 100 women of wrongdoing. I say it all the time. Or 1,000 women of wrongdoing. Check yourself. Check everything you decide to do with, is this world or is this God? But Brother Typin says we did not phrase that question correctly. He says, what is a man? Can you tell us what is a man?
I can't. I keep saying I don't have an answer for that. Like, and people keep asking me that, but I honestly don't know. Like, I could give you a very, like worldly example of what they tell us a man should be, right? Like, oh, a provider, a protector, and these things here. But like, outside of that, like what else is the essence of a man, right? Just besides like you being a provider and a protector, like what does that look like? What is that example? Like, that I don't have an answer for that, because I keep telling people I don't know. Like, I'm being honest, like I don't know what a man is. If I give you my answer, it's not correct, because my ideologies about men are messed up, right? Not that I'm mad at men, but I'm just saying, like, how I treated men, how I view men is totally different from what I think a man should be. But I still don't know what that correct answer is. Like, what is a man? I don't know.
Guess what?
And even that word provider has screwed it up for a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because you took that made it transactional, and you think that was all his purpose was to give you money. And it has nothing to do with being a provider of so many more things. It's not always about cash. It's a provider of again, a covering, knowledge, information, logic, all the things that women don't have, instruction, all the things that women don't come with. That's a provider. It has nothing always to do. How about this? The most important thing, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. The most important thing, I think, in a relationship, a good one, and I'm just telling you this, you're not ready for that, but I'm just telling you, a woman needs to have stability and security, and that is what a man provides. So even though we be spewing out, oh, we want a man to be a provider and give us provision and a protector, they don't know what they're saying. Let's break it down one more time. Provide what? Security. Security what? Of mine. I don't have to want to worry about where I'm sleeping tonight. I don't want to have to worry about my lights getting turned off. Women do not function well in chaos. It's very chaotic when you don't know. Let me go better. It's very chaotic when you come home on the 15th of the month and there's an eviction note on your door. Women don't function well in that. If you can keep those eviction notices off the door, you can keep those lights on. You do not have to be a six-figure man. I will love you. That's the security and the stability that I need. I will live with you in that 1-bedroom apartment for 10 years, as long as you're making sure that I'm eating, my lights are on, there's no eviction notice on the door, and you're coming home at night. I'm good. That's what women want. The world has distorted it all. They think you need, they made you believe you need a BBL, you need a breast enhancement, you need some change in your pocket. Such corruption. But anyway, I'm going down another road. I don't want to do that because I've taken too much of your time. But listen, I have appreciated this conversation. It's been excellent. Listen, chat, I thank y'all so much for losing me, then coming back. And, I appreciate y'all so much for doing it. We're going to have to do this again. Actually, I want to create a whole segment where we are creating wives. So look for that. I want it to come. I want to have these hard questions. I want to talk to people like you because it makes me think. Otherwise, I'm just sitting on this stuff with nothing to do. So I appreciate you. And I'm glad that you wanted to have this conversation with us. And I'm glad you answered these hard questions. Yeah. And again, I'm going to keep up with you. You're welcome to come back here anytime. So with that being said, thank you. Chat, we love you. Y'all, if y'all haven't given me the thumbs up, make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn the alerts on and make sure you keep up with SB. Thank you so much, Jay. And I will talk to you all soon. Y'all have a good night and I will see y'all soon. Bye-bye.